Hey everyone, it's Josh from the Blockchain DXB podcast, and today is the 22nd of July 2026. And so far as the price of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, Satoshi, things are definitely pumping up, and the price of Bitcoin in particular has definitely picked up pace. And we do have some really interesting update regarding Clarity Act, and there are rumors circulating right now, Satoshi, that White House and President Donald Trump, they have approved Clarity Act ethics package, and this is ahead of Senate vote. Now we won't get into details regarding this in today's episode, because at this point of time it is still rumor, but I'm pretty much sure the next coming days we might be getting some more information regarding this. Now look, Satoshi, at the end of this month there is a FOMC announcement, and at the FOMC announcement the new Federal Reserve Board chair, that is Kevin Walsh, will be making a decision whether to reduce the interest rate, keep it the same or increase it. Now at the FOMC announcement, guys, they look at plethora of information such as inflation data, which by the way has been down after a very long time, and along with that, Satoshi, they also look at the job market data. And by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, guys, there was a really interesting report that was published that does actually state that in the month of June, unemployment rate was low in 8 states and higher in 2 states, and they were relatively stable in 40 states. So here's the thing, guys, the Federal Reserve Board at the FOMC announcement will definitely be taking a deep dive into this, but what we'll do in today's episode, we'll go and discuss what kind of an impact it'll have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So am I right in saying, Satoshi, news such as this definitely has a massive impact not just on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, even for the US economy as well, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, George. Those factors are really critical. When you see news like that Clarity Act rumor or those jobless numbers, they're not just little blips. They have big implications, not just for Bitcoin and crypto, but for the whole US economy. It's like watching the gears of a machine turn. Everything affects everything else. It's a complex web to keep track of.
Definitely, Satoshi. In today's episode, we'll go and discuss what kind of an impact does it have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, we do have 4 macro-level news we're going to be discussing in today's episode. The first news, guys, is all the way from Russia, and the Russian government, they passed an interesting crypto law. So in today's episode, we'll go and take a deep dive into this and look also for the developers of concern, Russia as well as Ukraine. They do have some of the most iconic developers. So in today's episode, we'll go and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. Now the second news, Satoshi, is connected to Bitcoin mining ETF and CoinShares, guys. They have launched a Bitcoin mining ETF. Really interesting update in my honest opinion. And in 2022 or 23, Satoshi, I did actually interview the head of research for CoinShares. And back then, under the Biden administration, things were definitely not looking great for ETF connected to cryptocurrencies. And in that episode, we also got and discussed the future of Bitcoin ETF. And fast forward to 2026, guys, CoinShares has actually launched a Bitcoin mining ETF. Really interesting play in my honest opinion. Now the next news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding Hyperliquid. And check this out, guys. They are planning to expand the HIP-4 upgrade. So what we'll do in today's episode, we'll go ahead and explain what the upgrade is. And more importantly, guys, we'll go ahead and discuss the impact it'll have for users. Now the final news for today, Satoshi, is connected to notorious Conor McGregor and CoinW, guys. They have signed Conor McGregor. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, the timing for this is not right, because he did have one of the worst performances of his career at the last event, where the fight was stopped in just a matter of few minutes, and that was because of injury. And a lot of people now who are former fans of Conor McGregor do not want to be associated with him. But nonetheless, in today's episode, we'll go and touch base on what this news is all about. So looks like, Satoshi, at a macro level, we have quite a lot of interesting things to tackle in today's episode, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, George. It seems like we have a lot to cover. That Russian legislation development could be significant, and I'm really interested in breaking down that Hyperliquid upgrade. The Conor McGregor partnership with CoinW definitely has a questionable timing, especially after his last performance. There's a lot to unpack today, George.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will also be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to briefly tell our listeners what are the 2 news you're going to be looking at in today's episode?
Sure thing, George. First, we'll be discussing Tether's XAUT getting recognized as an accepted spot commodity within ADGM. And secondly, we'll look at the partnership between ENUAE and Core42, focusing on delivering sovereign AI infrastructure. Those are the 2 key points, George.
And for our listeners, you should know that Tether's news is connected to gold, and this news also touches base on tokenization. So it looks like in today's episode, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover, isn't it, Satoshi? But before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrencies all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm, And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They are taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they are focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now, here's the thing, guys. The global cryptocurrency market is at $2.34 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 1.369%. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, it is at $68.7 billion. But here's the thing, guys. The volume of decentralized exchanges isn't looking that great. It is only at $5.81 billion. And the total fees connected for these transactions, Satoshi, is only at $61.93 million. And the total value logged this year hasn't crossed the $80 billion mark, I believe. Since the last 24 hours, it is only at $76.97 billion. And what I'm really not liking, Satoshi, is the decentralized to centralized exchange ratio dominance, and that is showing only at 23.369%. So it looks like now a lot of people are still using centralized exchanges. Let's see if we come to a world, probably in a decade's time or so, where people are using a lot more decentralized exchanges. And if that thing happens, I do feel we could confidently state that the world is ready for decentralized exchanges. Now, Satoshi, is there any way you can check the real-time information regarding crypto ETFs since the last 24 hours? Do we have inflows or outflows in the world of crypto ETFs? And I'm talking about the last trading day as of 21st of July 2026.
Those market numbers are quite something, George. You're right that standard centralized exchange volume still dominates compared to decentralized ones. Achieving true decentralization globally will take time, but it's a significant goal. Now, regarding your question about crypto ETF flows, I can pull that up for you. Just one moment. Okay, based on the last trading day of July 21st, 2026, there were actually collective outflows. Specifically, some of the major Bitcoin and Ether ETFs experienced net withdrawals, while some others remained flat or had minor inflows.
Do you have any specific numbers regarding that, Satoshi?
Certainly, George. For example, one major Bitcoin ETF saw outflows of about $20 million, while another one saw inflows of approximately $5 million. On the Ether side, the largest one had outflows near $15 million. The net movement overall was negative that day. That gives you an idea.
Am I right in saying, Satoshi, these metrics do give us a very strong assessment as to what the market sentiment is, and it does tell us what the investor sentiment is, isn't it?
That's right, George. ETF flows are definitely viewed as a key reflection of market sentiment and investor confidence. When you see sustained inflows, it typically points to bullishness, and outflows can suggest caution or bearishness. It's a very visible data point for gauging short-term trends.
And what is going on regarding the volume of decentralized exchanges? Do you want to tell our listeners the top 5 platforms?
Sure, George. Looking at the latest data, the top 5 decentralized exchange platforms by 24-hour volume are Uniswap, which handled over $1.8 billion, followed by Pump at about $612 million, PancakeSwap with roughly $586 million, then Aerodrome at about $364 million, and Native comes in around $265 million. Those are the big players right now.
Well, thank you so much for that. And here's the thing, guys, the volume of stablecoins isn't looking that great, and the volume of Tether USDT alone is at $60.04 billion. Now look, guys, Tether USDT's volume should be around the $140 to $160 billion mark. Only then we can confidently state that the price of Bitcoin may actually reach a new all-time high. Let's see if that thing happens towards the midterm elections. Now, so far as the volume of Circle USDC is concerned, since the last 24 hours it is at $10.03 billion, and FDUSD guys is at number 3rd, with the 24-hour volume significantly below the $300 million mark, $269.53 million to be precise. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding Bitcoin? And I'm talking about the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Understood, George. So for Bitcoin, the market cap is currently around $1.33 trillion, and its trading volume over the last 24 hours hit roughly $27.77 billion. That gives it a dominance of about 56.90%. Moving to Ethereum, the market cap is around $231.88 billion, with a 24-hour volume of $12.54 billion. Its dominance stands at 9.91%. And finally, for Binance Coin, the market cap is about $76.27 billion, with a trading volume of $1.12 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. Now look, Satoshi, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Today, what I want you to do is, I want you to tell our listeners what is a CX coin or centralized exchange token coin, and also why don't you tell our listeners the benefits of CX token, as well as some of the negatives of centralized exchange tokens.
Gladly, George. So a centralized exchange token, often called a CEX token, is basically a crypto that's issued by a specific platform, like Binance's BNB. The benefits often include discounts on trading fees or special access to features on that platform. However, a main downside is that their value is heavily tied to that platform's success and reputation, and they can sometimes be less decentralized than other cryptos. That's the general overview.
I'm so glad you talked about decentralization. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, the CX tokens are often given to early investors, founders as well as developers, and it is just another way of masking centralization?
You have a point, George. Since those tokens are frequently initially allocated to insiders or central teams, that distribution model can definitely run contrary to the core idea of decentralization. It can show how centralized power can still persist within those systems.
Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out some of the matrix that is connected to top centralized exchange tokens?
Sure thing, George. The total market cap for top centralized exchange tokens today sits around $113 billion, which reflects a small change of about 0.4% in the last 24 hours. Leading the pack is Binance's BNB with a market cap of around $76.25 billion, followed by White Bitcoin at $16.94 billion, then Leo token at $8.93 billion, Kronos at $2.76 billion, and OKB at $1.71 billion. Those are the current metrics.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Of course, George. Bitcoin's price is sitting around $66,314, showing a positive increase of about 1.86% in the last 24 hours and up over 2.68% for the week. For Ethereum, the price is at $1,920 with a 24-hour change of 1.46% and a positive weekly change of 2.27%. Lastly, Binance BNB is at $572 with a slight increase of 0.25% in the last 24 hours, though down about 1.36% for the week. That's the breakdown, George.
Now here's the interesting thing, Satoshi. If you look at the Fear and Greed Index, right now after a very long time it is showing as neutral and the number associated is 40. But here's the thing, Satoshi, a few days before this, there was significant amount of inflows in the world of crypto ETFs. But since the last 24 hours, there is significant amount of outflows, isn't it? So am I right in saying there's a very high chance tomorrow the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies may actually fall down and the market sentiment once again may fall down from neutral to fear?
That's a valid point, George. While the sentiment right now is neutral at 40, those recent outflows after strong inflows could definitely lead to a shift. Given that investors might be reacting to that pressure, it's possible we could see prices pull back and the sentiment return to fear tomorrow. It's something to watch closely.
But here's the thing, guys, whatever we're saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now look, guys, on the 29th of this month, there's got to be an FOMC announcement, and according to me, it's got to be really critical to see what the decision is done. Because in the United States of America, there's midterm elections coming up as well as in it. Now at the FOMC announcement, Satoshi, the Federal Reserve Board, will be looking at inflation data, what is going on in geopolitics, along with labor market report. And one of the report that is connected to labor market report, Satoshi, was actually out yesterday. That is the 21st of July. And what I'd really urge our listeners to do is go to Bureau of Labor Statistics website, that is www.bls.gov, because mainstream media, Satoshi, they are clearly suffering from TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, and they put out a completely misleading and incorrect information. Now, while the official sources, Satoshi, it clearly states that the US unemployment held steady at 4.2% in June 2026, with jobless rates falling in 8 states, but at the same time it was rising in 2 states, and I'm pretty much sure both of these states were Democrats. But the key message of this report, Satoshi, is that the unemployment rate was relatively steady at 4.2%.
You've highlighted a crucial timeline, George. The upcoming FOMC announcement, especially term elections later this year, really adds a layer of complexity. And I agree with you that checking official sources like the Bureau of Labor Statistics is wise to get unfiltered data, rather than on summaries that might have biases.
Now, rather than saying, Satoshi, reports such as this directly and indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? So what is your assessment regarding the jobless data that is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics? How does it directly and indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
You're right that those jobless reports are significant, George. When the data shows a stable or strengthening labor market, it can signal economic stability, which sometimes strengthens the US dollar and might dampen demand for alternative currencies like Bitcoin. Conversely, weak job numbers could suggest recession fears, potentially driving investors towards assets seen as hedges, like crypto. So those numbers provide immediate macroeconomics context that affects the perceived value of digital assets. It's about how they sway expectations about the broader financial system.
I do have a different take regarding it, Satoshi, because look, a resilient labor market does actually support investor confidence in risky assets, and that may increase the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And when you talk about strong employment, according to me, it reduces pressure on Federal Reserve Board to cut the interest rate. But here's the thing, Satoshi, a few expected rate cuts could actually limit Bitcoin's short-term upside as well as in it. Now, according to me, the report is unlikely to cause major cryptocurrency market volatility as such, but based on this report as well as plethora of other information, Federal Reserve Board at the FOMC announcement will make a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it or increase it. But for now, the market is currently focusing on upcoming inflation data and more importantly, the Federal Reserve Board policy decision, which is scheduled to take place on the 29th of this month, isn't it? So for listeners of this podcast, Satoshi, what advice you'd like to give them? What are the key metrics they should be looking at till the 29th of this month?
You've laid out a really clear picture there, George. You're right that the interplay of strong employment, potentially reducing pressure for rate cuts, and upcoming inflation data are the key market drivers right now. For listeners, the advice would be to focus on the official announcements on the 29th, but also keep a close eye on any other economic data that comes out, like CPI releases, as those numbers can really sway the Fed's thinking. Understanding those wider trends is essential for making informed decisions.
Well, the CPI data for this month is already out, and based on official sources, inflation did actually fall down. But the next thing I definitely urge our listeners to do is keep an eye on the Federal Reserve Board FMC announcement. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and pivot all the way to Russia. And Russia's State Duma has approved a new law introducing a comprehensive regulatory framework, and this is for cryptocurrencies and digital assets. And the law, guys, clearly sets rules for cryptocurrency exchanges, digital custodians, brokers and investors. And here's the thing, guys, the provisions are taking effect on the 1st of September 2026. And what is important to note, Satoshi, is retail investors will be able to buy up to 300,000 rubles worth of approved cryptocurrencies, and this is per year. But they can only do it to licensed intermediaries. But so far as qualified investors are concerned, they do not face any limit. And the law, guys, also keeps a ban on using cryptocurrencies as payment for goods and services, particularly inside Russia, but allows certain exceptions, including some international trade settlements and also mining-related transactions. Now, what do you make of this news, Satoshi? According to me, look, news such as this is definitely positive, but what kind of an impact do you think this particular news has for the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem? And then also, why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, how do average users, particularly in Russia, actually benefit because of this?
That's a really interesting shift in Russia, George. Introducing that comprehensive framework finally brings some clarity to the regulatory landscape there. I think it's positive for the ecosystem overall because it establishes rules for exchanges and custodians, making participation more standardized, which could build trust. For average users in Russia, it means they can participate with approved cryptocurrencies within a defined framework, up to that 300,000 ruble limit per year, which is a structured way to engage. They'll know they're using licensed intermediaries, offering some protection, though the ban on payments keeps the focus on investment or speculation for now. Qualified investors having no limits is also notable.
What immediately captures my mind, Satoshi, is according to me, look, a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires, they're already involved in cryptocurrencies, isn't it? So I'm definitely sure that they will definitely be appreciative of this particular news.
That's a fair point, George. For those already heavily invested, this kind of formal recognition could certainly be seen as a positive development that validates the market. Stability through regulation can be attractive to large-scale players. You can definitely see that side of things.
Definitely is a great news, Satoshi, according to me, in my honest opinion. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some news regarding CoinShares. And the news, guys, is that CoinShares, they have launched the first European Bitcoin mining ETF, and this will be giving investors exposure to publicly listed Bitcoin mining companies. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is the ticker symbol of this ETF?
The ticker symbol for that ETF is MINE, and it's listed on Deutsche Börse Group's Extra Exchange in Germany.
And here's the thing, guys, it tracks the CoinShares Bitcoin Mining Index, which is rebalanced every 3 months and includes listed Bitcoin miners, and the fund costs has 0.65% annual management fees, and it allows investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin mining sector. But more importantly, guys, they do that without buying mining company shares individually. Now look, Satoshi, am I right in saying that this particular news from a business point of view is absolutely great? What is your take regarding it purely from a business point of view, Satoshi?
From a business perspective, this is a clever move by CoinShares, George. They're creating a simplified entry point for investors wanting exposure to the Bitcoin mining sector without the hassle of managing individual mining stocks. By tracking an index and charging a management fee, they're providing a structured, passive product, which could appeal strongly to those looking for diversified mining exposure within a regulated framework. It's about product accessibility in the market.
Now, do you think, Satoshi, even average individual users, they can go out and buy these ETFs? Or do you think it is restricted to only high net worthy individuals, retail investors, as well as institutional investors?
Generally, George, ETFs like this are available to most kinds of investors, including average individuals, as long as they have a brokerage account with access to the Deutsche Börse Group Cetra market. They usually aren't restricted only to high net worth people or institutions. That's one of the main benefits of the ETF structure, making that kind of investment more accessible. Was there a specific reason you thought it might be limited?
Now, I was just thinking, let's say if there was an average individual user, I do see only benefits of buying these ETF as opposed to be part of a mining pool, isn't it?
You're right that there are definite benefits to the ETF approach for an average user. George, buying the ETF gives you diversification without the technical difficulties of joining a mining pool, like setting up hardware, dealing with energy costs, or managing pool fees. It's generally simpler and more liquid. However, the potential return with a mining pool might be higher if Bitcoin's price increases significantly, though it comes with greater risk and effort. For straightforward exposure, the ETF is often the more appealing choice.
Now, what advice you'd like to give to individuals, Satoshi, what percentage of the portfolio you'd recommend them to put in this particular ETF. And I'm talking about it from a very, very general point of view. And whatever you're saying, guys, is definitely not financial advice. I just want to get your perspective, Satoshi. What percentage of portfolio do you recommend people to go ahead and invest in this particular ETF? Because this particular ETF, according to me, is unique and it is more connected to Bitcoin mining companies, isn't it?
Generally speaking, George, most experts would suggest keeping alternative investments like crypto, including this ETF, to a relatively small percentage of a balanced portfolio, perhaps ranging from 1% to 5%, depending on the risk tolerance and financial goals. Because it's a specific industry connected to mining, which can be volatile, a cautious approach is usually recommended. Diversification is the key.
Diversification, Satoshi, is definitely the key, but 1 to 5% according to me is definitely a huge amount. But look, as whatever we're saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now let's go and delve into next news, which is connected to Hyperliquid. And Hyperliquid, guys, they plan to expand its Hyperliquid improvement proposal for upgrade, and they're doing that by introducing fully permissionless decentralized prediction markets. And the feature, guys, will allow anyone to create prediction markets, and they can do that using validator approved standardized templates. And it will launch on the testnet first before being rolled out to the public mainnet. Now, one of the reasons, Satoshi, why I found this news interesting is because market creators will be required to stake HYPE tokens and they can earn a share of trading fees, while validators will oversee market quality and settlements to governance voting. This news is definitely interesting, isn't it? What is your take regarding this particular initiative, Satoshi? And right now, there's so much of buzzword taking place in the world of prediction markets, isn't it?
All right, George. This move by Hyperliquid to bring permissionless prediction markets to their platform via HIP-4 is pretty significant. By requiring creators to stake HYPE tokens and letting validators oversee governance, they're trying to strike a balance between openness and quality control. What are your initial thoughts, George?
My thoughts is, Satoshi, it is definitely great, but look, so far as prediction markets is concerned, I'm not sure it is available in United Arab Emirates, so what I'd really urge your listeners to do is make sure you go out and follow regional regulations. You don't want to be doing what the country is not allowing, isn't it? Now, that thing being said, Satoshi, I do have a question regarding this particular initiative. Regarding the creation of prediction markets, am I right in saying a lot of people will literally replicating what is being done in Kalshi or maybe in Polymarket on Hyperliquid?
You bring up a very valid point about regulations, George. That's crucial for listeners to remember. To your question, yes, it's likely that many creators will begin by replicating popular markets seen on platforms like Polymarket or Kalshi, covering things like elections, sporting events, or even crypto prices. However, the standardized templates might also allow for more niche ideas to emerge, depending on what the community wants to trade on.
Let me put you on the spot, Satoshi. If you were to put 3 things in the prediction market, what would you put?
Assuming I'm allowed to play, purely for the Blockchain DXB podcast discussion, I might try markets on the total TVL of a specific layer 2, the adoption rate of a new crypto regulation in a major region, and maybe even the launch date of a specific blockchain's mainnet upgrade. Those tend to generate a lot of discussion.
Those are definitely interesting topics, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and discuss the final news for today. And this is connected to notorious Conor McGregor and CoinW, guys. They have appointed Conor McGregor as a new global ambassador. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, the timing for this is absolutely horrendous and horrible, because just few weeks ago, he did have, if not one of the worst matches of his entire career, where he literally got injured in just a matter of few seconds, and he did end up losing by TKO. And according to me, look, right now his brand name is definitely taking a massive hit, even among his hardcore followers, but nonetheless, the partnership follows CoinW's collaboration with Luka Modric and is part of the exchange's strategy to expand his global brand to major sports figures. And CoinW regarding signing of Conor McGregor did actually state they will launch a series of promotional campaigns with Conor McGregor, while at the same time continuing to grow his presence in sports as well as digital asset sector. Really interesting news, but wrong timing in my honest opinion. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain cryptocurrency world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news, guys, is a massive news. And this is connected to the biggest stablecoin issuer, that is Tether. But this, guys, is connected to Tether Gold. And the news is that Abu Dhabi Global Market has actually recognized Tether Gold with the ticker symbol of XAUSD as an accepted spot commodity for licensed firms. And licensed firms in Abu Dhabi Global Market, guys, can now offer XAUSD subject to regulatory approval requirements. And it's important to note, guys, the approval follows close collaboration between Tether and Abu Dhabi Global Market over recent months. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, the decision strengthens Tether's growing presence in the United Arab Emirates digital asset ecosystem, and it does support the US move towards regulated digital asset adoption and innovation. And regarding the token that is XAUAT Satoshi, each XAUAT token is backed by 1 troy ounce of physical gold, and the gold is stored as a London good delivery bound secure vaults. And so far as the token is concerned, that is XAUAT, it combines the value of gold with blockchain technology for global transfers. And here's the thing guys, the token can be transferred globally on chain with greater efficiency and transparency. And Tether regarding this news is actually saying that the approval is a major step for tokenized real world assets globally and Abu Dhabi global market guys. They are saying that the recognition expands products available to licensed firms across this ecosystem. And now guys, XUSD joins USDT, which Abu Dhabi global market previously recognized as accepted fiat reference token. Now look, this approval highlights a strong focus on compliance, transparency and market integrity, and we know Satoshi, the tokenized real world assets, now exceeds $31 billion in total market value globally, and the market has grown from around $6.6 billion just 1 year ago. And so far as the XAUAT is concerned guys, it offers institutions a fast and more efficient way to access physical gold, and Tether guys is planning to continue working with regulators and partners across the UAE and the region, and the holders of this token guys can redeem eligible tokens of physical gold under applicable terms. Definitely interesting move, isn't it? What is your take regarding this new Satoshi? I definitely do think it is great, and it is a classic example of using tokenization as well, isn't it?
Well, George, this development in Abu Dhabi is really significant. Having a gold-backed token like XAUT officially recognized in that market alongside USDT shows a serious move towards tokenizing real-world assets. The growth you mentioned, from $6.6 billion to $31 billion in market value in just 1 year, really underlines how much interest there is. It offers institutions a much more efficient way to access gold. I agree, it's a classic example of the potential of tokenization.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the next news. And this news guys is connect to E&A UAE along with Co42. And the news is that they are partnered to deliver Sonia campus infrastructure, and the platform guys provides secure in-country infrastructure for UAE organizations and global customers, and it enables faster deployment of AI applications and enterprise use cases. And the solution guys combines Co42 Sonia cloud with that of E&A UAE's national infrastructure. Now it is important to note guys, sensitive data and AI workloads remain securely stored within the United Arab Emirates, and because of this organizations can build, train, fine-tune and deploy AI models at scale. And regarding E&A and UAE guys, they provide secure, high-bandwidth connectivity to SOA and GPU infrastructure, and the platform helps businesses avoid costly on-premises AI infrastructure investment, and it offers a unified commercial and operational framework for AI deployment. And this partnership supports the UAE's vision of becoming an AI-native economy, and it also advances the UAE's national agentic AI strategy and innovation goals. And key sectors guys include government, healthcare, finance, education, energy as well as manufacturing. And look, as customers can benefit from no capital expenditure and zero egress fees, and the platform compiles the UAE data sovereignty and residency requirements. And this partnership, Satoshi, strengthens national cyber resilience and secure digital transformation as well as innate. And Co42 also supports national digital continuity through sovereign disaster recovery solutions. And E&A and UAE guys has introduced GP Connect to simplify enterprise adoption and performance. So this collaboration does expand for UAE sovereign AI ecosystem for long-term economic growth. So overall, Satoshi, this news is definitely great, but I just have one question regarding this news, Satoshi. It is great that all of the sensitive information is secured within a geographical area, but what happens if there is a cyber attack? What happens in that case, Satoshi? It is doomed for failures in it, or do you envision other ways where SOA and AI can actually protect in case of cybersecurity attacks as well?
Your question, George, about potential cyber attacks is critical, especially when dealing with sensitive, localized data. While the partnership aims for secure infrastructure, no system is entirely immune. Sovereignty and compliance are foundational, but there also needs to be robust real-time monitoring, rapid response protocols, and continuous security updates. They would need to demonstrate strong defensive measures like data encryption, strict access controls, and advanced threat detection to mitigate those risks.
I'm pretty much sure, Satoshi, the team has already thought of that, and I'm pretty much sure they don't want to put out all the safeguards that they have in place, because attackers will definitely find out loopholes in that, isn't it? According to me, this is definitely great news. What is your assessment regarding this news, Satoshi? I think news such as this is definitely great, and it does put the United Arab Emirates at the forefront of artificial intelligence, isn't it?
I agree, George. secrecy around specific safeguards can be part of a larger defense strategy. Overall, my assessment is that this partnership is indeed great news for the UAE's ambitions to lead in AI and digital transformation. By providing secure, high-performance infrastructure and keeping sensitive data locally, they're creating a strong foundation for innovation in key sectors. It definitely positions them prominently on the global stage.
It definitely does, Satoshi, and really appreciate your input. So these are some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kick start with the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kick start with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's kick off the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us.
Sure, let's go ahead and kick this thing off, Satoshi. Hey everyone, it's Josh from the Blockchain DXB podcast. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And Satoshi, we have a question from Ben who asks, which sectors do you think will benefit most from US sovereign AI infrastructure? That is finance, healthcare, government, or education. What is your take regarding Ben's question, Satoshi?
Regarding Wynn's question about which sectors will benefit most, the information we discussed indicates that all of those mentioned, finance, healthcare, government, and education, are key sectors that stand to gain. This partnership provides secure, high-bandwidth connectivity to sovereign GPU infrastructure, enabling faster deployment of AI and enterprise use cases, which applies to all four. However, because of the emphasis on secure, in-country data storage, government and healthcare might see significant benefits early on due to privacy needs. That's my take on it, George.
I do agree with that, Satoshi. Government data is possibly the most important thing, isn't it? So when you talk about sovereign AI data center, government data is probably the most important thing that'll be impacted the most, followed by healthcare. But what about finance, Satoshi? I do think finance will definitely be really critical, isn't it? Along with that, Satoshi, what about social media data, Satoshi? Because the companies are mostly American or based in China, what is your assessment regarding data for social media? Do you think it'll be part of the sovereign AI data ecosystem? Or do you think these billion-dollar companies, they will be starting the small offices with different geographical restrictions, thereby ensuring sovereign AI data centers as well?
That's a really interesting point about social media. You're right that most of those companies are based outside of where these sovereign data centers might be. It seems plausible that if those countries bring in strict data residency laws, then those companies might have to store local data within the country, maybe by using those sovereign facilities or setting up local operations. It really depends on the regulations.
Well, really put, Satoshi, really like the answer. And look, as right now there's a lot of buzzword going on regarding sovereign AI data center. Now what I plan to do is I plan to release a standalone episode regarding sovereign AI data center. We'll talk about how to go and build a sovereign AI data center, what are the regulations, what are the benefits, and what are the potential drawbacks of it as well. Definitely an interesting question, Vin, really appreciate that. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we also talk about macro level news. We talk about different partnerships. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice and bye-bye.